entering now, this week, we'll be entering the Lenten season. Okay, this Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, which starts off the Lenten season. Ash Wednesday, between Ash Wednesday and Easter Day is 46 days. Okay, 6 days, 6 of those are Sundays. So you subtract the Sundays, because in those days you're worshiping and remembering that Easter is coming and the Lenten season. But the other 40 days are to be really spent in basically fasting, which we'll go more into that, but fasting and repenting of sins, looking over your life, being, just kind of being insightful and looking at what, and everything like that. And the 40 days in the Bible is very significant in Christianity. First of all, on the Christian calendar, this season we are coming into is the most important season of the year. It's why we are Christians. It's why we worship like we do. It's who we are. So the Ash Wednesday, like I said, kicks it off, and many people go. Well, first of all, Catholic faith always celebrates Ash Wednesday, and they always celebrate Lent. Many other religions, many other Protestant religions do as well, and we are one of them as well. There are some that do not, and the reason some don't is because Ash Wednesday is never once mentioned in the Bible. Those words are not in the Bible. The word Lent is not in the Bible. Now, of course, the season for the crucifixion of Christ, that's all in the Bible, but it's not referred to as Lent. Lent is not. So because those things are not in the Bible, there are some churches that don't celebrate it. But on Ash Wednesday, the tradition is that you go to a service, wherever, and you get a mark on your forehead of ashes. Ashes do hold quite a significance in the Bible. Ashes are usually a sign of remorse, something that you've done wrong, or they're a sign of mourning, that you are mourning. And so for instance, when King David went before God and he was so remorseful for what he had done with Bathsheba, he was just a totally broken man, and he crumpled to the ground and he tore his clothes and he covered himself in ashes. That is a sign of remorse. When Job was having all of his problems in the Bible, and he was not condemning God at all, but he was so sad and broken and mourning, and he tore his clothes. That was the other side. Tore your clothes, cover yourself in ashes. In the book of Esther, when the Jewish people were at a chance of being annihilated, being totally wiped off out of the face of the earth, there was plans in place. Mordecai, who was Esther's uncle, set at the gates of the city and put ashes all over him to signify. So ashes is actually a sign of it's our deepest, darkest things that we hold inside that we feel like maybe a sin in our lives, something that is got a hold or a grip on us. And the ashes is kind of a symbol of that, as of the sin, and so we place that there, and many people, when you go out in your workplace on Wednesday, you will see many people there, maybe at work, will have this on their forehead. You may see somebody just out shopping, because some people keep them on, some people do not. Bible doesn't address this. So there's no, this is just something you can do, and you don't have to do it. It's just something, but I wanted to share with you the symbolism behind it and the reasoning behind it. And there is a part in the Bible I wanted to share with you. It's from Ezekiel. It's in the Old Testament. And it kind of addresses this. It's in Ezekiel 9:4. And it says, "Go throughout the city of Jerusalem and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and lament over all the detestable things that are done in it. And the background of that verse is that there was a city that was quite sinful and a lot was going on. And actually there were angelic forces that came throughout the city. And anyone who had this mark on their forehead, the angels let alone because they were lamenting. They were mourning the fact that things were going so horrible in that city and that people were turning away from God and were doing deplorable things. And so they were shown or told to put this mark, and the angels passed through and they destroyed many of the people there of that city, but they did not touch the people that had that mark, because they were mourning what was going on there and were against it. And that's what this mark kind of, when you see somebody out, you know that that's a person who reveres Christ. You know, they wanted to have that. They wanted to say, Lord, just please forgive me of all this sin in my life, and I want to start this season off, and I want to go and carry out this Lenten season, thinking of you and being introspective of myself. And that's, so that's what Ash Wednesday really is all about. But when you go into the Lenten season, the 40 days of Lent, 40, again, like I told you, has great significance in the Bible. When a great flood happened and the world was destroyed by flood, what was it? 40 days and nights of rain. When the Israelites were forced to travel out in the wilderness till they were allowed into the promised land, it was 40 years they had to do that. When Jesus was resurrected on Easter Sunday, when he was taken back up into the clouds with his Father to sit at the right hand of his Father, it was 40 days between that time. So 40 holds a great significance, but in the Lenten season, the 40 days is significant of Jesus' time in the wilderness that he spent. Before he started, age 30, before he started out into his ministry, he went out to spend time with his Father in fasting. And fasting, he truly fasted. No food, no water for 40 days. And he was out in the wilderness, and he just communed with God. He just wanted to be prepared as he went out to do what he was brought on earth to do, which was to teach us all. And so he wanted to spend that time. And when a person fasts, their attention then is that you take away, you just put yourself down, that you are just totally dependent on God, because you are nothing else that is taking your attention, and so therefore you fast from what is going on, and you just only commune with God. And that's what Jesus did for that 40 days. And so of course he was very tired, very hungry, and the devil saw his opportunity, and he came in and he started saying to him, turn that stone into bread, so that you may eat. Crawl on top of that tallest building of the temple and throw yourself off, because God will save you. Jesus was fought against every temptation that the devil threw at him. Even though he was weak from no food or drink, he threw off every temptation, and the devil even used Bible verses to come at him with. But Jesus stood strong, and so that is what the 40 days of Lent is saying to us. Stay strong. Stay strong, resist temptation. There again, take a look at what is going on in our lives. What do we need to do to commune deeper with God? What do we need to do and then also be thankful for the journey that Jesus took during that time period till he reached the date of crucifixion and then resurrection. To just make ourselves try to feel that, try to get it better understanding, and just at least think about it. Just take a conscious effort every day to think about what was it that Jesus did for us by coming to this earth and the sacrifice that he made to us. So many religions believe that is what you do whenever you give up something for Lent. You're making a sacrifice. But the verse that I read to you today, that's what we're going to take a look at right now, that verse, because there's a certain way that you do that. I remember I had had many Catholic friends when I went to school, and so every year at this time of the year, they'd always be around the cafeteria table discussing what they're giving up for Lent. And when I look back at it now, some of the most humorous ones were when somebody would say,